Hello, Bob Hall here, making another Hallsome Farm video. Last year, winter, I made a video, I'll put the link up here, of in this greenhouse, how the heater failed and we lost all the tomato and pepper plants. We had 2 days last year that got into the teens. I think we got down to 17 or something, and it just killed everything. And that's when I made a decision that, because I was making like $50, $60 a month in tomatoes, and there's so much work. And so I decided to go to lettuce, because I can get 50 to 60 pounds of lettuce out of one bed, which I sell for $12 a pound, and they grow in 5-6 weeks. Makes a whole lot more sense. And everything was going fine this year, but then we had a really nasty cold spell, and at one point we got down to 10 degrees, winds blowing 25 miles an hour with gusts up to 35, 40 miles an hour, and it just got too cold in here. I just harvested this bed, and we're the furthest away from the heaters here. The heater's back there, and like I said, I get 50 to 60 pounds. Look what I got. Maybe that's all I could salvage, and I don't know, that may be 4 or 5 ounces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reseed. We're in the 30s to 40s at night and around 60s, 50s and 60s during the day. So I'm going to reseed. I just made another video. I called it the big secret and golden nugget to aquaponics, and I've already gotten some controversy on that. So I wanted to show you, and I'll put the link to that one up here too. But literally, I'll show you. It takes like 60 seconds to seed this bed. And normally when I harvest, I just use a knife and go and cut, and it takes, to do this whole bed, maybe 10 minutes to harvest. Whereas to transplant into a raft bed, it takes, for a 4 foot by 2 foot raft bed, it takes about a half hour. And so to equal this much space, we're talking an hour versus 11 minutes. And then when you go to harvest, it takes at least 30 minutes. So really, we're talking 2 hours versus 11 minutes difference. And so my big reveal in that video was, to me, it no longer makes sense to have raft beds, because they just take so much time and energy and efficiency away from other things that could be more productive and money making. So, not that raft beds don't work. I mean, they work just fine, but on a commercial scale, there's just too much time involved. I guess if you've got all the time and money in the world, you can hire somebody, you can do that, but to me, it's just not efficient. When you got 2 hours versus 11, maybe 12 minutes, that, what can you be doing in that other hour and 45 minutes? I mean, how many of these, I could harvest this whole greenhouse in the time it takes me to plant 2 raft beds, and I got 42 of them over there. So let me show you a little bit. I mean, we got so cold the heater didn't keep up with it. So I'm going to show you the damage done to this lettuce. I'm going to try to harvest some of it. Some of it I'm going to let grow, but I'm going to walk you around and just show you the kind of damage we got. In all 3 greenhouses, we got very similar damage. So I've been just harvesting and throwing to the chickens and the goats, and they've been eating the damaged stuff. But it's kind of put a crimp in my commercial sales for the moment. So let me walk you around and show you. I don't know if you can see that I've got all these dead patches, these leaves that have died in here, and I don't know, this may come back, it may not. Here's some had been harvested once. This is the second growth, and I've got damage on it too. You see all the tip burns. I don't know if there's much salvageable out of this. There's a little bit. See in the center, some of these center ones are okay, but the rest of them have taken too much damage. But this is a different style of lettuce here. This is a different mix. And even though there is some damage in here, it looks like this one handled the cold a little better. So I may get some product off of that. And of course, we're also closer to the heater here. But even so, and I got a fan going, just too much damage. So we're gonna have to basically start all over. So it'll be another 4 or 5 weeks. Of course, it's cold too. It may even take a little bit longer before we're back and running smoothly. And the other problem is I can't plant all of them at once, because then I'll have to harvest them all at once. So I've got to stage these beds so they all come up at different times, so I have a consistent production, not all or nothing, which is very, very difficult, I find, to do, because it seems like that's what happens. Is it's feast or famine. We don't have any product to harvest, or we got too much product to harvest. So finding that balance is not particularly easy. But let me put the camera back into the holder, and I want to show you how quick it is to plant this bed. I'm ready to seed this bed, and first thing I did after trying to clean it up is smooth it all out, try to get it level, and I always keep a record. This is one of the ways that I can, I put the date and the bed number and what I'm planting in here, so I know I can get my right mixes, and I know when I plant, so I can figure when these things should be harvesting. So you have to keep records. And then I have this little seeder that I just put a couple ounces of seeds in, and then let me show you how to do this. You just go and you just start sprinkling seeds out. Let's see, I've got it on number 2. There we go. This just gets a nice cover of seeds all over, because we're just growing a mix, and we're just going to harvest and cut. So it's not, I don't need to plant them in a row or anything. I just want to, there you go. I still got a bunch left, but now I just go and I kind of work it in a little bit with my hand. And by the way, this is crushed granite that I'm planting in. I use crushed granite because it's cool in the summer, warmer in the winter, and it's tight enough that the seeds don't fall in. So that's all there was to planting. I don't know if we timed it, but I bet you it took right around a minute. Now in 2 to 3 days, it'll sprout, and about 5 to 6 weeks from now, because it's winter time, maybe even into week 7 a little bit, this bed will be ready to harvest. And I should get a second cutting off of it. Then I'll pull, because then it's not worth trying to go for a third, because every cutting you get less and less. And then I'll plant it again. And so if I've got 6 beds, I got 8 beds in here, and I got 6 weeks between harvests. Then I've got to measure and gauge. Plus I've got 8 more beds in another greenhouse equivalent to this. So I kind of try to stagger them so I get constant production. Hopefully it won't be too windy. I wanted to show you my cover on my spinach. On that day that we were 10 degrees and the wind was blowing so hard, it just blew right off. And so this spinach was exposed to 10-degree temperature, wind chill much lower than that. And look at this, it's doing just fine. And interesting, I cut this spinach here about 3 weeks ago down to the ground, and even with all the cold we've had, look at it coming back. And this one I cut just last week, I mean not even, probably 5 days ago, and look at it, it's already coming back. It's amazing. This I've got to do the first cutting. That's why some of the leaves are yellow and stuff. I haven't cut this yet, Now these 4 beds, by the way, and I've got a video I'll put up here, I planted when it was very hot, between 90 and 100 degrees. And then this bed here we made a little bit later, and I planted, it was cooler, it was in the 60s, and it hasn't taken off well at all, which is really a surprise. So maybe in the spring it'll take off. But these beds here, and it looks like I need to get out here and cut these, because the more I cut, the better it grows even when it's cold. I'm beginning to love spinach. Anyway, that's what it is, and you know, there's always problems, always things to overcome. We're overcoming some lettuce damage. I'm going to let this stuff here grow for a little bit, a week or two. I can't harvest it right now anyway, or plant it. I'm going to see if it recovers some. I'm hoping it does. But anyway, that's kind of how we try to judge and do things here. I hope you found that useful. If you like what we do here on the farm, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button and share us on Facebook. That helps us a lot. Thanks for watching.